Hi, welcome to Bead Sisters. I'm Kay. This is take 3 because I haven't done this since December. And I would say it's only a little scattered because it's been so long. But actually, if you've been here before, it's pretty much always like this. So I'm playing with the hat that I made. I'm going to show you how to actually have some things that I have finished, believe it or not, in the last few months. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about knitting, stuff that's going on. And yeah, let's get going. Well, if you were here in December for Vlogmas, I had an Advent yarn set from PK Yarn. She always does a great job. But I decided rather than making the pattern that she suggested that I would do a sweater. So that's really cool. It is the Flax Light. I think it's called Flax Sock or something now because it's designed for a sock weight yarn. So let's jump right in and talk about that. I actually finished it pretty quickly, actually, like in January. What do you think? Do you like it? I'm actually really pleased with it. I had 20-gram minis, and I usually do 10-gram. But I decided to go for the 20-gram, and I did not use all of it. It actually goes into more greens and yellows after this. I've saved the rest of them that I will put into some other project. Probably got enough for at least a small shawl still, because I probably had as much as a full skein of yarn left. So I will tell you what I did. Again, this is the Flax Light or Flax Sock that they call it now, but it's just a very basic raglan sweater. It calls for a pearl ridge along the sleeve. I did not do that. So what I did, I started at the neck. I decided just a plain old rolled neck. So if you can you see that? Yeah. Plain old rolled neck. So I just started knitting, and I think I knit maybe a few extra rounds just so I get a nice little roll at the top. Really happy with it. And I used most of the 20 grams for these first sections because of course they were getting bigger as I did the raglan increases. But when I got to the split for sleeves, I started taking the 20 grams, dividing it roughly in half. So I had 10 for the body, and just a hair on there, and then 5 for each side of the sleeve so that it matches up. And I'm pretty pleased with how that matched. I've got a little bit of kind of pooling here, but I'm actually fine with that. That's not bothering me at all. I've worn this a few times. It's now getting hot, but I've worn it a few times and gotten lots of good compliments. So if you have an Advent set, pick a plain sweater pattern and it'll work great. I've done it a couple of times now and I'm really happy with it. I might consider a cardigan. The only thing is, it's really nice when you get to this main section that you can just knit around and around and around and not really have to think about it much. Because this doesn't, I think it has little, if any, shaping. I don't know that I did any. It's been a few months. Let's see. I don't think I did. I don't think I did any shaping on it. Does it look like it? It doesn't look like it. It's all right, Lacey. You're good. Lacey, the very energetic Brittany, is in the other room. She may come in for a visit. We'll see. All right. Something that I don't have a photo of. I used a sock blank that I had dyed a long time ago. It hadn't sold. Pulled it and made socks for my daughter. I don't think I have a picture. If I can find one, I'll put one in, but I don't think I even have a picture of it. But she liked them. They were crazy colors, and that suits her well. Oh, Lacey, what are you doing? Hi. Can you see yourself? You gonna be a good dog? Yeah. Yes. Say hi. Yeah, I'm glad to see you too. Okay, let me finish up, okay? And then we'll go down. Yeah, I like you too. All right, Get down. Down, please. Good girl. Her behavior has improved, but she did get into some trouble yesterday. She and my son and daughter-in-law's dog took off to chase something yesterday morning and ended up in the swamp, which is right out there, and both came back just black muck from the belly down. It was rough. They both had to have unscheduled baths. What do you see? All right. Moving on. So I did the socks, and this is a hat that I did. I went to a retreat in January at Lake Greenwood, and the exchange was bring a skein of a worsted weight yarn and a hat pattern to exchange. So I got the kit from, her name is Christy. Christy is an amazing knitter. She knits and crochets, and she teaches, and so she's brilliant. She uses this hat pattern. It's called the 1898 hat. I don't have the designer's name in front of me, but the 1898 hat. It's available on Ravelry, I'm pretty sure. And you start with this part, so you can kind of tell from here. It's very thick. So you do this double thick, fold it, and then, and apparently I knit one of my hairs into it. Fold it, and then pick up stitches to do the crown. I think that's how I did it. Again, been a few months. But she said it's her absolute favorite hat, go-to pattern. What she did, because you can do this in one color, and of course the crown in a different color. She got her daughter's school class to color a picture that had the crown, so it was just like a dome, and then this part, so she had it drawn like a coloring page. But if you can imagine just this on the page, it sort of looked like underpants, but she had them color them. They didn't know what it was for. She just color them using no more than 3 colors. So they did. And then she, genius that she is, replicated the color for a hat for every kid in the class. Can you stand it? It was genius. If I can find some pictures, I'll ask her if I can post some pictures. She's got some, I think, on her Facebook page. I'll ask her if I can post some pictures. But it was just brilliant. She said the kids just absolutely loved it. Isn't that smart? So that's the 1898 hat. And it was a fun project. It was pretty quick because it's worsted weight. So pretty fast project to get through. The construction is a little different. It's an odd shape, but the instructions are great. So I highly recommend that one. The next one you've probably all done. I'm always late to these parties, but our weekend project for the retreat, and there's no pressure to participate, but they provide, included in the retreat is a project. So it's the yarn for the project and such. This time it was the Sophie scarf that has been all over for months. My glasses keep sliding. Anyway, so we had this color changing yarn here. I say color changing. It's not really self-striping, but it's a, what am I trying to say? Variegated. And we held it, was it already a fuzzy? Yeah, I think it was a fuzzy yarn. And what it was supposed to do, because it was like it wasn't even 50 grams. It might have been a 50 gram skein, maybe. So what we were supposed to do was do half, get to the halfway point, because you start, if you've not made one, you start at the end. It's got an I-cord edge. You start at the end and you go to the halfway point, and then if you don't have a ton of yarn, you weigh it when you get somewhere close to see, make sure you have 50% at least left. Well, I was staying at the lake house with my husband, and I was working on this late at night. He was already asleep. We were in bed. He was sound asleep. The scale was not where I could reach it. And I didn't want to wake him up. He wouldn't have been mad, but I don't want to wake him up. So I didn't weigh it. That's why the end is a different color. But but it's not the worst. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking it was two held together. See, this is what happens when I don't record close to when I do the project. The color is like a mohair. If I can find the yarn description, I will let you know. Come on. You don't want to see me. You want to see this, right? Well, maybe I can put in a picture. But I ran out of that and I just kept going with the other yarn. You can kind of see. There we go. All right. Anyway, the Sophie scarf, I actually enjoyed it over the winter more than I thought I would. I'm normally a big shawls girl, but I actually wore this quite a bit. So I understand why people make a ton of them. Bird just flew that way. I'm sitting in what was my older daughter's bedroom. She got married this fall, will be 6 years ago. My goodness. And we just recently repainted. The color was actually very dark when she was here. She picked out the colors for it, but they were dark colors like red and gold. And we recently got it repainted. My daughter-in-law's sister painted it for us, and she did a great job. It looks so good. But yeah, it's much lighter in here, so it's a little bit easier to get good lighting and record. So anyway, that's where I am with my beautiful Kromsky wheel. This thing is so pretty, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I've done very little spinning recently, and I miss it. Okay, next, the Helen Stewart Mystery Knit Along. I've actually got a tag on it because it was on my booth. It is the Hedgerow Shawl by Helen Stewart. Can you read that? Come on. There. And it was the Mystery Knit Along, so it came out in clues. It is a crescent, so it's super long. And I actually had not done knit baubles before, but I think it turned out pretty good. So it's 3 colors. You can pick any 3 colors. The colors that she used in her sample are actually more, there's more contrast in hers than I did. But there's enough textural interest in this. You could do it all in one color and it's still beautiful. Some people chose to do that. So it starts here. And then we have some slip stitches for this section, then a lace section. And then I think we're back to some of the slip stitch. So what happens is with the 3 colors, you have 2 of them here, and then a different combination for that slip stitch pattern here. And then where's the next one? A different one here. So lots of combinations for that slip stitch pattern. And then there's another one down here somewhere. So we have the lace section, and then we have baubles here. Is that focusing? And then we have more lace and more baubles. If you are, and she always says, if you're an adventurous beginner, you can probably handle it. If all you've ever done is a rectangle with knits and purls, it might be more difficult for you. But if you've done any patterned projects, I think you could handle it. Her instructions are written very, very well. And it's rarely a complicated stitch. I think there was a section that had like a knit 4 together or something. That was the only part that was difficult. And if I had had pointier needles, it probably would have been fine. Lacey's just putting her head on my leg and staring at me. So anyway, the Hedgerow Shawl. And I dyed this yarn. The other stuff, none of it, the rest of it, I don't think is anything I dyed. But so the lightest green is celery. This green, this kind of medium green, is called Willow. That's a new one. And the gray, come on, focus, you can do it. Is it focusing? The gray is called Pigeon. So if you see me at an event, if you're going to be at SAF this fall, this should be there and you can take a look at it and decide if it's something you would like to make. I love her patterns, as you know if you've been here before. Okay, one more, 2 more that I'm going to tell you about. One more that this dog, y'all. Yeah, you don't understand why I'm talking to that little box, do you? But our friends are there. Yeah. Yeah, our friends are in there. I'm sorry you can't see them and hear them because I think they would like you. Yeah, you're a nice dog. She's 2 this month, y'all. Can you believe it? Naughty little puppy that we got a week before Hurricane Helene came through. Yeah, I like you too. I'm not giving you my next project though. You cannot have LaPronda. So if you were watching during vlog, you see this nose looking up here. This is LaPronda. My husband and I went to Charleston in December. So again, if you were watching for Vlogmas, you will have seen when I bought this kit. We bought it at a yarn shop in, I think it was in Mount Pleasant, as a kit. So we've got little beads for eyes. Is that focusing now? Maybe. And so I think you start at the tail. Start at the tail, work the body, you have to stuff it. Actually, you stuff it at the end, which is really awkward. You stuff it actually from the tail. Might try to modify that if I did it again, because that was kind of a pain, but it wasn't the worst. So anyway, this is LaPronda. I think it is the most adorable little toy. It's so cute. I think my daughter Janie would like me to make her one. She could probably talk me into it. So LaPronda, the prawn. Cute, cute project. Went really fast and adorable. I think it's available on Ravelry, so if you want to see other people's projects, you can check it out. Excuse me, ma'am. No. No. I wish you could see the side eye she's giving me. No. Did I need a matching scratch? From her adventure in the swamp, she's got a little scratch on her neck. It doesn't look like it's swollen or anything, but she's got a little scratch on her neck that I'm pretty sure she got then. Did I need a matching one? No, thank you. No, thank you. Yeah. All right, I need you to get down because I've got a little bit more to do, please. The other 2 things I've finished, I need to explain why I'm making both of those things, which is very exciting. My son and daughter-in-law are expecting a baby. Baby's due around the beginning of September, and I have made a newborn vertebrae, which the pattern's been out for ages. It's the open front cardigan, and it's got sizes from newborn to larger adult sizes. So the newborn vertebrae pattern is free. The other sizes are paid. So there's like a baby to toddler maybe, and then there's like adult sizes. I think there's 2 paid versions, maybe 3, but I think there's 2. I haven't tried any of those. I've done the newborn vertebrae a couple of times, but I made that one. She's got it, and I don't even know if I have a photo of it, but it's made in I think I used leftovers from some of this for that one. The other thing I've made, and I can put in a photo of this one, I'll try to remember to put it in somewhere around here, is the Gramps cardigan. This is a Tin Can Knits pattern that's, again, been around for a long time. The pattern shows it in 2 colors. So you have a main color, and then the little pockets and the shawl collar and the button band are in a contrast color. I did it all in 1 color. Baby's a boy, so I decided to do it all in my colorway espresso. So it's a solid or a tonal brown. My daughter-in-law works at a coffee shop locally, and she said that the perfect espresso has 3 colors. So it has a dark brown, a kind of reddish brown, and like a cream color. And she said, "Wow, you nailed it." And I thought, yeah, of course I did. I didn't know all of that when I dyed it. I just came up with what I thought would work as an espresso. So anyway, really happy with how that turned out, and I will put in a picture of it. So that is all of that stuff that I have finished. Andy and I are celebrating our 36th anniversary this month. And we are planning a trip. We are leaving next week. It's currently Friday the 5th, I think, of June. So our anniversary is in less than 2 weeks. We're going to Ireland for about a week. We leave, it's not even actually a full week. We leave on Thursday and we come back the following Wednesday. So yeah, pretty excited about that trip. Never been to Ireland. I changed planes in Ireland once, but that's it. So very excited about that trip. And I've got an idea for a project. Tell me what you think. I'm thinking about doing the Musselburgh hat. Again, very late to the party, but I'm thinking about doing the Musselburgh hat in this yarn. This is, are you focusing? Yes. Gorgeous, and it feels amazing. It's a single, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It is from Leading Men Fiber Art. Can I get that? Maybe. There you go. Leading Men Fiber Art. It's just their QR code. Colorway is Lightning Bug. In the monologue base because it's single. So I'm thinking this, it just feels amazing. The fiber content is merino, silk, and yak. 65% superwash merino, 20% silk, 15% yak. And it's 523 yards, 120 grams. So I feel like that would be plenty, and that would be a great, easy project. Have any of you done that? I almost always do socks when I travel on the little tiny bamboo circulars because I never have a problem with those on airplanes. But I feel like a lot of people have done the Musselburgh hat for plane trips. I feel like it might be okay. I think I'm going to try that, but I probably will cast it on and get it to kind of the easy part before we go. What do you think? I think this is a great color for an Ireland trip. Speaking of Ireland, I like to read books set in the place that I'm going. So I found this one when I searched for books set in Ireland, Dublin specifically. We're going to be staying in Dublin, although we have a day trip to the other side of it. It's like a 12-hour tour all the way across Ireland to the Cliffs of Moher. Anyway, this book is part of it is set in Dublin, called The Lost Bookshop. And it does something that I don't normally care for, and I'm not a huge fan of it here, but the story is very good. It's told from 3 perspectives, Opaline, Martha, and Henry. And so each chapter moves from one to the other telling their story, and not even all in the same time period. So it gets a little confusing for me. But again, the story is very good. So I'm enjoying that one. It is by Evie Woods. And look at my bookmark. Can you get that? I found this at a Ren Fair. I was working, Olivia, that's my daughter-in-law, I was working her booth with her. She does jewelry, and I took a little bit of time to go and explore. And I found this at, it was another jewelry, so it's polymer clay and jewelry. And if I can think of her name, I would say it. Something Baubles. I will put a link. Hopefully I'll remember to put a link for her stuff there. She's had incredible stuff, but I'm not that much of a jewelry girl, but I love the bookmark, so I really like this. I don't know if you can see, it's got little keys and stuff on it. There, maybe that's better. All right, so The Lost Bookshop, I'm about halfway. I'd like to finish it before we leave. And I think I'm taking this next one with me. It's Lucy Foley, The Guest List. And it is set on a remote Irish island. So not Dublin, but Ireland. I have read at least one other book by her, The Paris Apartment, which I really liked. I may have read The Silent Patient, which I think is also her. See if I can find a list. These others are not familiar. It says The Hunting Party, Last Letter from Istanbul, The Invitation, and The Book of Lost and Found. So I don't know those. But yeah, The Paris Apartment I've read and liked. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. I think this will be a good one for airplane reading. We'll see. All right. I think I've mentioned this. It's another project that I'm working on in some of my yarn. It's in my Columbia worsted base. It's the Red Velvet Cake colorway, which I love. And once again, late to the party. Everybody's already made a bunch of Weekenders by Andrea Mowry, correct? I think. Look at this luscious, luscious color. I love it. I wanted an oversized sweater. When it was on one needle, I went up a little bit in size. I know it's designed to have some positive ease, but I thought, I'm tired of making sweaters that I don't end up wearing. They fit, but they're not my go-to comfort sweater because they just need to be a little bit bigger. Like the one that I did in my Advent set, the flax sweater. It fits great and it looks good on me, but it's a little too snug for just, hey, I'm going to throw this and lay around and read a book. So I wanted one that was oversized. And when it was all on one needle, I convinced myself that that's what it was going to be. I have to be honest. Brutally honest with myself. No. This, can you see this? This is not going to fit me. So I'm going to have to rip out like a lap blanket worth of knitting, and which in itself doesn't bother me that much. It's not that difficult. But the cast on, and I don't even remember what it's called, the cast on was different, so I had to learn it. Tubular cast on. And I really like how it looks. I could do a different cast on, but I really like it. It's so cool. I'm going to have to redo it. And I was being very responsible and alternating skeins, which means I have to rip out should be two full skeins back and forth. But I'm never going to be happy with it like that. I'm just not. So I've got to rip that one out. Alas. Well, it has been good to visit with you. Good to share our family news with you. The other thing that's happening that is a fairly big project kind of in our family. I mentioned being at Lake Greenwood and staying at our lake house. That will not be happening going forward because we just sold our Lake Greenwood house, which makes me very sad. I love that house. But the property adjacent to where we live here is being sold. My cousins are selling, so we inherited the property from our grandparents and parents, but they're selling their half. And they had always said, we will come to you first. If we ever decide to sell, we will come to you first. And we were like, excellent. So probably about a year and a half to 2 years ago, they said, I think we're probably going to think about selling if you guys are still interested. And we said, yep. So as of last late summer, early fall, they said, yep, we're ready to go. So we put the house on the market. It didn't sell right away. So over the holidays, we pulled it back off the market. I stayed there for the retreat at Lake Greenwood. And then we kind of finished sprucing it up. We decluttered. It was pretty minimalist to begin with, but we got it all fixed up and put it back on the market, and it sold almost immediately at that point. So that was probably a good time of year because people are in the spring, kind of late winter, early spring, starting to think about a place for the summer. And it ended up being bought by somebody that I'm not even sure they saw it before we had a contract. They actually just saw it online. If it's still available to look at on Zillow, I'll try to remember to put a link for you so you can kind of see what it looked like. The photography on it was great. We said, if you want the boat, you can have the boat. And so anyway, all of that's done. And now we are going forward with purchasing the land. The land has a pond site, which was a pond when my grandfather was there, and it needs work. The spillway has partially collapsed, so that's going to need some work. And there's a cabin on it that my grandfather built. So we're going to actually sell some of the trees, some of the timber on it, and use that to finance repairing the pond and repairing the cabin. So anyway, it's a lot, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting that fixed up, and hopefully we can still have some family gatherings over there once we get everything back up to where it's comfortable to use again. Well, y'all, I'm going to go. I have been talking for 30 minutes, and I will need to do some editing tonight or tomorrow. I hope that you are having a wonderful summer. It's actually getting a little warm up here, which is crazy because it's been kind of a cool early summer. I mean, it's, I guess, technically not summer yet, but today's the first day it's hit 90 in a while, and we've had a couple of mornings this past week with lows in the low 50s. It was probably close to the upper 40s a couple of mornings, like 52 at one point, and that was after the sun was up. So yeah, it's been chilly, so our pool is still kind of cold. I'm hoping that some hot weather over the next few days will help. Well, good to visit with you. I have a new microphone, so I'm hoping that it's picking up really well, and I will talk to you soon. Vlogmas since December, and it feels just like I haven't recorded anything since December.